What if I told you renting could actually be a smarter wealth move than buying your dream home? I know, the conventional wisdom is that renting is a waste of money and owning a home is the only way to build equity. That can be true, but there is a way to rent and also build equity while owning a home. Let's talk about rent vesting. Before we dive in high, if you're new here, I am Chizoba. This is Zoba's Wealth Lab, where we talk real world finance and encourage creating wealth fearlessly. All right, rent vesting. Let's break it down. What is it? Rent vesting is a way to invest money in a property while you are also renting. So the way it works is in an expensive city, let's use New York or Los Angeles, let's say you live there or you plan to live there, it can be very expensive to own a home in such a city. It's cheaper to rent than it is to own a home in an expensive or desirable city. If you're in Maryland, for example, we would say the Potomac area of Maryland. You can afford a rent, but you cannot afford to buy a home. So how rent vesting works is in that expensive city, you rent a home. That way you get to live the lifestyle you want. However, you also want to build equity and invest in real estate. So you go to a more affordable area. It could be the same state, it could be a different state, a different city, and you purchase a home in that affordable area. And what this does is it allows you to rent in a high cost area where you are close to work and the lifestyle you want. Allows you to buy property in a more affordable suburb or market so that you are enjoying lifestyle flexibility and you are also enjoying wealth growth. So that is what rent investing is. And the financial benefits, other than growing wealth while living the life you want, is you don't have the stress of paying huge mortgage in an expensive city. You get to build equity from the property in the more affordable state. There are definitely tax advantages. So while you may be paying rent in a more expensive city, on your tax return, you get the tax advantages of the house you own. So be it depreciation, expenses, deduction. Something we don't talk about often is there is also income wherever you are, wherever you have bought the home, you can rent it out to tenants so that you are also making money on the property while you are building equity at the same time. And then you can move freely without having to sell your property. So let's say you live in New York and you've decided, you know what, I'm done with living in New York. I am moving to, I don't know, Connecticut or wherever it is you've bought the home. You can actually get up and move. There is no property for you to sell in New York, and you've got a home ready. Of course, by then you want to make sure that the lease for your tenants have already run out. If you own multiple homes, you have options. So those are the benefits of rent vesting. That being said, like any investment option, there are risks. Tenant management is no easy feat. It can be difficult. But of course, you can get around this by hiring a property manager. There are property costs maintaining a house other than the mortgage. There are repairs and maintenance and so on. Again, you could get around this depending on the kind of lease agreement you sign with the tenants. There are lease agreements where the tenants are responsible for repairing and maintaining in exchange for slightly lower rent or rent that is lower than the market rate. So there are definitely options there. Another risk is rising interest costs. So depending on the kind of mortgage you have, interest rates could skyrocket, increasing your mortgage payments to levels you have not planned for. So that is something to keep in mind. And finally, there can be lifestyle creep. So where you are renting and enjoying life, it could start becoming more expensive to rent, and you find you are investing too little, either in the property you've bought or in other properties you can potentially buy. So if you do decide to rent first, those are risks to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about who should consider rent vesting. If you're a young professional who lives in a high cost city, rent vesting is something to consider. You want to start now to start investing and building equity in a piece of property somewhere cheaper than where you live and work. People who should consider it also digital creators and entrepreneurs because you work out of your home. So let's break down some advantages here. If you're a digital creator, where you live in a high cost city or not, you are renting somewhere, you work property somewhere. You can get the tax advantage of writing off certain expenses in your apartment and also get the tax advantage of like depreciation and so on in the property you have bought and are renting out. That is something to keep in mind. And finally, people who love flexibility, you don't want to miss out on the world from real estate, but you love being able to live where you want to live. If that is very important to you, then yeah, rent vesting is the way to go. So to summarize, rent vesting is a way to rent without wasting money. So you're not just pouring money into someone else's property. On the side, you are creating wealth and building equity for yourself as well. So, as I leave us be, the question is, would you ever rent vest? Would you consider it as an investment option? Think about it. Drop your answer in the comment box below. Let me know. As always, in all that you do, I wish you well. I wish you the absolute best. Go forth, go do well, and create wealth fearlessly. Catch you in the next video.